I am very excited to show you something really special. We are going to be exploring the Procreate 4.5 update. This is the beta version. I've been beta testing it for a little while, and I wanted to show you guys some of what is coming up with this new update. This is a big deal update, especially for me, because I'm a brush person, obviously. I love Procreate brushes. It's kind of my life. And this update is all about the Procreate brushes, just completely giving an overhaul to the brush library, big improvements for brush organization, a whole slew of new Procreate brushes that are going to come built in with it, and much more stuff. So in this video today, I'm going to give you guys an overview of what all the new features are, show you how some of the stuff works, and then maybe do a little tour of some of those new Procreate brushes that are going to be coming to you. But first things first, I just want to let you know that this is not out to the public yet. I'm just testing the beta software. We don't have a date as when the update is going to be released, so I don't have that information for you, but I did want to give you guys a little sneak peek. So yay, so exciting. And then the other thing that I wanted to tell you guys about is at the end of this month, I am actually going to be traveling to Tasmania, which is in Australia. And if you didn't know, that is where Procreate's headquarters are. That's where they do all their magic, down at the bottom of the world in Tasmania. So I'm headed there to do a little visit of their office. And I really want to take your guys' questions with me and ask the Procreate team. So I'm going to be taking all kinds of questions with me, and I've created a little form. We'll put it in the chat. I think Jeff, who's running things behind the scenes, has it, my lovely husband. And then I also put a link to it in the YouTube description, so you can submit your questions there. You can also ask them in the comment section of this YouTube video. But yeah, send me your questions, because I want to like get into their brains as much as I can. Yay, okay. Well, then without further ado, let's start talking about the app. I'm going to switch you down to my iPad and open things up. Okay. All right, so here we are. I'm going to open up the Procreate beta. I'm going to clean my screen a little, you guys. Sorry. Should have done that beforehand, but we're all good. Okay. All right, so the biggest differences are, of course, going to be in the brush library. The first thing we'll do when we open up is things look a little bit different, but the thing that excites me, I mean, there's a lot of things that excite me, but one of the things that really, really excites me about this update is brush libraries. So now you can actually organize all of your brush sets into brush libraries. You can kind of think of them as like subfolders that can contain however many sets of brushes you want. And the way that you would access these libraries is you just take two fingers and kind of pinch down. We're all familiar with that gesture. And then you have all your libraries here. So I've actually organized my Bardo brushes. You can just tap on any of these. All my Bardo brush sets into a library. I have all my Art Makers Club brushes in a library. We have all of our classic Procreate brushes that we all know and love. These are the built-in brushes that have been in the app since it was very first launched. But then we also have something else. That one, the one with all the brushes we know and love, is called the Classic Library, and we have one called the Procreate Library. And these are a whole bunch of new brushes. The amazing brush maker Kyle T. Webster has been working with Procreate since, I think it was last summer when he started working with them. And he's just been like making all these amazing brushes that are all going to come with Procreate. There are, I think, 18 sets. I counted 144 brushes. But of course, and I should have said this at the beginning, like everything that you guys see today is totally subject to change because this is just beta version, so anything can change, but that's what I'm seeing right now. So I'm going to go through some of these brushes at the end so you can kind of see what's in store, but that's super exciting. There's lots of really cool brushes, and I just love the brush libraries feature, like being able to compartmentalize the sets. It's like, it's amazing. I really, really love it. You can actually tap and hold on a brush set or a brush library, rename it, you can share it, you can duplicate it, you can copy to your iCloud, which we'll talk about iCloud in a little bit. And for me personally, I'm really excited about this feature because I think it could be a way to like to deliver like sets of brushes to you guys. So like, you know, the master bundle or all the Art Makers Club brushes, or I don't know, I'm gonna keep playing around with that and make sure that's feasible, but I think it's a really cool way to kind of deliver sets of brushes. So that's really exciting. Okay, so another really cool thing, and I'll tap into one of these libraries, that you guys have been requesting. I have wanted this feature forever. That is brush search. So if you actually drag down from the top on a brush set, we have this little search icon, and you can tap into it and search for whatever brush you want. I'm searching for Gritty. I have a few brushes with that name, and all the brushes with those names, you know, if it has that search term in it, will come up, and you can tap on one and it will take you directly to the set, and you can start using that brush. So that's a really, really exciting feature, and this works from both when you're looking in a brush library or when you're zoomed out. I think you can actually swipe down there and you can search for that as well.
I love it. That was definitely the #1 question already just in this chat is, will there be search?
Yes, so excited about search. You guys, I have, I don't want to say too many brushes. I don't think it's too many. I have an appropriate amount of brushes for a brush hoarder such as myself. And sometimes it's hard to find the one you want, so I know you guys are going to really love that feature. One other cool thing, I know this used to be the way that we would, if we wanted to create a new brush set, we would drag down and it would say, you know, new brush set. But now it's actually in this plus sign here, so we can tap that and we can create a new brush or create a new set. So that's kind of how they repurpose that gesture. And I think that's very, very smart, so love it.
It's a really good common sense one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great question,
Yep.
and I don't think we have an answer for this one yet, is how many libraries can we have?
I haven't heard that there is a limit to the amount of libraries that you had. I assume that it's probably up to the storage on your iPad, but that's a great question that I can pass on to Procreate, so we'll make sure to write that one down, and I'll get an answer for you guys on that one. That's a really good question. Okay, so let me tell you about a few more things. Those are some of the big ones, but there's also now brush sync with iCloud. You can sync your brush libraries via iCloud, and you can sync them between multiple devices, which is really, really exciting. This is something I haven't played around with a ton, but I plan on testing with those multiple iPads and kind of seeing how that works. But that's a really, really exciting feature. I know that when you're in this brush library view, you can tap and hold and you can copy it to iCloud. So that's like a way that you can back up, which is a little different than the sync. But that's a really exciting feature. And then also related to the brush syncing with iCloud, which this is very exciting to me. I'm going to go into the Files app, and I'm going to go into the On My iPad folder. And I have a folder here for the beta, but inside, we've seen the fonts folder. That's where your fonts go, but now there's a brushes folder. And if you open that up, we have the different folders here, which stand for the different libraries. And inside each folder, we would have all the brushes and the brush sets. So you can actually organize, you don't have to drag and drop in the app. You can actually just do it here in the Files app and manage your files that way, back things up, what have you. So that's a really exciting addition, is being able to manage all your brushes within the Files app. So love that. Another fun little thing, oops, wrong, there we go. Another fun little thing is we have these cool little icons that you can, here, I'll open up one of these. You can actually like set an icon. So normally we'd have the little the Procreate brush sets would have like a special icon. Let me show you in Procreate. Sorry, my brush is a little messy. So all the Procreate ones have special little icons, and then every set that you make yourself has the little Procreate swash, but you can actually customize the little icons now. So you just tap on that, click or tap select icon, and you can choose from all these fun little icons. So I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun playing around with that feature. I started putting emojis on all my brush sets to like help me find them better. But it's kind of cool to see if you could do that with an emoji and not just an icon, but I'll pass that suggestion along to the Procreate team. So that's pretty cool.
This is a really cool question I was liking from Pablo. Do you feel any difference with the classic brushes with the new Brush Studio update, or are they just behaving the same?
They should be. I've been really playing with the new ones a lot, but they should all behave the same. I will pick like Blackburn. That's one of my favorite built-in brushes, and they really should all work the same. I know one of the reasons why this update, they're putting a lot of time into it is like kind of overhauling all the brushes into this new format, but they're putting in the time to make sure that everything is perfect and seamless and what you would expect it to be. So I haven't seen any difference so far, but I'll kind of pay attention to that. Good question. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I mean, I know a great one that people have is, will the update be available for all models of the iPad, not just the newer versions?
I haven't heard that it's only going to be available on some models. I know when Procreate does updates, as long as it can support Procreate, the iPad supports Procreate, it should be able to support this update. But that's another good question that I can bring to them as well. But I know they always try to make it like accessible to as many people as possible. Is one of their big philosophies. So yeah, good question.
Yeah, should be a lot. We just don't know yet.
Yeah. Okay, a couple more things, and this is kind of nerdy for people that make Procreate brushes, but there are some new brush settings. So let me go into, I'll just go into this one, and I'll just make a new brush set, make a new brush set, and make a new brush in that set. So we have some new options, and again, this is really nerdy, a little technical if you're not a brush maker, but we have some new jitter settings. So there is now, we've always had spacing jitter, but now you can do jitter based on speed. You can change jitter based on the different axes of the brush stroke, so lateral, linear, underneath shape, I believe it is. We have horizontal and vertical roundness jitter. So that kind of, here, I'll like show you what that means. And maybe I'll space this brush out so you can kind of see what's happening here. And hopefully, I know that's really small. Let me make it a little bit bigger here. All right. Okay, so where was I? Under shape. So this is kind of varying the roundness of the brush, each individual brush stamp that makes up the brush stroke. So you can vary it vertically, you can vary it horizontally. You can do both at the same time and get kind of like some really cool variety to the different stamps in your brush stroke. And what I think is neat about this is like it gives you so much more personality and randomness to the brush stroke. And it's going to open up a lot of possibilities, and you'll see like how these kind of settings have impacted the brushes that come with it, which is really, really cool. There's another setting, which, let me find it here. I forget what it is. It's alpha threshold. All right, give me just a second. It's been a minute since I've been digging into these settings here. I think it's under grain. Oh, here we go. Under rendering, we have this threshold amount. And if you're working with a brush that has kind of a softer edge to it, so let's see, like something like this. There we go. The rendering will kind of make the brush, okay, you have to do a few settings to get it to work, but it will make your brushes more crunchy and almost more pixelated, I would say, but that's not a good way to describe it, but taking out all the anti-aliasing. So if you're doing like pixel brushes or something like that, that's gonna be a really handy feature. So that's that. There's also pressure curve per brush, which is down. Oops, where did I see that? Oh, it's right here. The pressure curve per brush. So you can actually set the pressure curve on a brush by brush basis, which is really cool as well. There's a lot of really fun little nerdy things that you can play around with and different possibilities for that. So cool new brush settings. I'm really excited. I've been playing around with these settings and working on some new brushes. So that's very cool. All right, let me get out of here. Another little thing is the color history, which is right here. Previously to this update, you could only see this little history bar if you had a larger screened iPad. The smaller screens, like an iPad mini, there just wasn't enough room. It wasn't designed to appear in there, but now everybody has it. So color history for all, which is cool. So if you have a smaller iPad now, you can actually get access to that, which I use this feature all the time. Yeah, so those are some of the biggest, changes that are coming to the brush library. I'm really excited about the organization, especially the brush libraries. That's the one that I'm very, very, very excited about. And then of course, all the new brushes. So I'm next gonna kind of show you what some of these brushes are and do a little demo of some of these brushes, but I just wanna see if we had any questions before I get into that. Is there anything else that popped up?
We definitely got a ton of great ones out there. Where did that go?
Let me make sure I have a good size canvas. Okay, I do.
We had a couple of people asking for an in-depth brush tutorial, and I was saying, hey, we do have an amazing one coming up in September.
Yeah, are you talking about Brushtober? Or what are you talking?
September. You're in person.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yes. Okay, September. Yeah, in September I'm teaching an art retreat in France. It's my Paint, Play, and Procreate art retreat in the Loire Valley. And a part of this retreat, we do a whole day on making Procreate brushes. We create inky marks on paper. We get textures from around the venue. We scan them in with photos, and then we use those to create all kinds of Procreate brushes, and I walk you through all the settings and kind of teach you how to make Procreate brushes, and it's a lot of fun. So if you really want to get into it and you're looking to do a little traveling this September, we still have 5 spots left, so join me. It's going to be a blast. Okay, so let me show you some of the brushes. I'm not going to go through all of them because there's a lot of them, but I'll kind of just really quickly tell you what the sets are.
Well, while you're doing this, I just want to talk about search.
Oh, yes.
When you're doing a search, is that just inside the library that you're in? Good
question. Actually, no. So I'm going to swipe down, and right now I'm in the Procreate library. This is all the new brushes. And I searched before for Gritty, which is the name of one of my brushes, the name of a few of my brushes actually, Gritty Glaze, Gritty Monoline, Gritty Tilt Liner. All these are in a different library than the one that I'm in right now. So it will search through all your libraries. Oh, and look at this. I didn't even notice this before, but it will actually sort them for you by the library. So that's really awesome. So good question. And then you can just tap to get out of there. Any other questions? Feel free to keep asking them, and Jeff will keep shouting them out to me as they kind of come through. Okay, so let me grab a color. And okay, the different sets that we have pencils, pens, inks, charcoals, pastels, oils, gouache, paints, watercolors, markers. So all those, each of those first kind of sections of brush sets are all based on real world media, analog media, and kind of grouped by the type of media that they are. And then down here we have some specialty sets like lettering, design, essentials, street art, comics, environment, creative, and digital. So we have some kind of wild cards down there. So pencils, of course, we have some beautiful pencil brushes. I really like this one. We can turn the brush to shade it. That one's Swansea. This one's a little bit more solid. You can kind of see that one. So a lot of fun pencils that you can use for sketching or pencil art, things like that. Next we have some pens. Let me clear that out. This one, Minky, is like a sputtery kind of inky pen, which is really fun. I love that for mid-century kind of art. I like this one, Bronze Wing. It's got a nice texture inside of the strokes, and it also kind of melds together when you overlap strokes. That's fun. Oh, and Inveresque, and hopefully I'm gonna not pronounce all these wrong, but that's a really beautiful brush as well. I think one of my things that I'm going to do when I go down to the Procreate offices is tell me how to pronounce all these brushes that I don't know how to pronounce. They often, and I don't know if it's for all of the brushes, but they name them after things in Tasmania, whether it's animals, places, things like that. So they're all like, that's kind of where a lot of the brush names come from. Okay, I'm in the ink set now. This one's really lovely. This is called Silver Eye. It's really dry. That's a really fun one. This one's Swift. Question?
Sure, we got a couple. Do all the sets need to be in a library, and does search work if not in a library?
I think it has to be in a library in order for you to have a set. Like, you can't have a set that's not in a library, but you can create as many libraries as you want. Like, you can tap this plus sign and create a new library, and then you can tap into that, create a new set, and create a new brush. So that's kind of the hierarchy of organization, is library, set, brush.
And can you just drag and drop brushes between sets and
Ooh,
libraries?
yes, I want to show you that. You can. So let me grab one from, I don't know, just a random set over here. So you can actually tap, hold, and drag. And then it's easier if you do it with two hands. Tap in, and then I can just drop that in. You can also move brush sets that way. So if I'm going to tap and hold a brush set, zoom out, open this one up, and drop it in. So you can organize things that way. And you should also be able to do that in the Files app too. So you can see those two sets that I just added into there. And I could probably go into, I'll move this gouache paint box and drop it into the Untitled. And in theory, it should, oops, wrong Procreate. There it is, gouache paint box. So you can also move things around within the Files app, which is cool too. Pablo is asking, can you export and save all the libraries together, or do you have to individually save them to share? I don't think you can like select multiple libraries to save. So you would probably have to do them one at a time, but you could go into the library here, select multiple libraries, and then like drag them onto a hard drive to back them up. Of course, we have the iCloud backup, but so that's how that could work. Also about iCloud, I did do a copy to iCloud. I did that feature. So here on my iCloud drive, which is messy, don't judge me. Here's the Procreate 5.4 beta, and this is where that would appear. So I have that library in particular now backed up on my iCloud. So that's one way that you could work. And again, I'm going to play around with this syncing a little bit more to kind of see that. Okay, so we've got some cool inks. This one's kind of fun because the heavier you press, you get this cool splatter. So like light pressure and then heavy pressure, you get like some cool splatters, which is neat. I really love some of the charcoal brushes. Some really beautiful textures there. Kyle Webster just did so good with all of these brushes. He's kind of a hero of mine. Kind of the reason I actually got into making brushes was because of him and his brushes, and I really wanted to learn how to do that. And so that's why I do what I do now. Pastels. I like this one, Fairy Wren. I like the name a lot, but I also love the texture of it. Look at that. And it's kind of smeary. Do like a different color maybe. There. That's a really beautiful brush. Let me get a darker color. These pastels have some really nice textures to them. So there's a few of the pastels. Let's do oils. I really love the oils brush. All the painty kind of ones are very fun. Let's see, this one's Sandpiper, which is super cool. It's kind of like, almost like a rake style. You get these kind of like stripy lines, and let me grab a different color. We can see how that blends. That one's not super blendy, but let's try a different brush. This is Platypus. Look at that, that's so fun. And this one, I'm kind of using light pressure, and I get a little bit of color mixing there. Two colors kind of blend together. Heavy pressure, I'm gonna get just that blue color. Lovely. Lovely is lovely. I think Lovely is one of my favorites. Let's do kind of a yellow. I just love the texture of this brush. and the blendiness. Look at that, it's really nice. Get an orange or something. My colors are mixing and getting a little muddy, so that one's really a lovely brush. Feel free to keep the questions coming and I'll answer them as they come in. This one's great. So I think you can have a lot of fun with some of these brushes. I like the texture of that one as well. That was kombu.
Is there a recent for brushes where you can pin them still?
Yeah, we still have our recents. And so you can see all the brushes that I've used. And I was just actually, now that you mention it, I believe the recents is just recent to that library. So if I go to, you know, this one, and maybe I'll use some of, whoops, forgot to turn that off. I'll use some of my Bardo brushes just to kind of see, go in between a few different sets and whatnot. And then go to recents. So now I'm only seeing the recents for that particular library. So that's a really good question. So you'll see your recents for that library, not for all the different libraries. And then a cool thing about recents is you can swipe on any of the brushes and you can pin it, and you can also find it. So if I wanted to figure out what set that's from, dry burst, I can just swipe and choose find, and it will take me to that set. Let's see. Find, there we go, and it will take me to that set. So that's one, that feature's been there for a while. You can do that now. But it's really cool. So good question. Okay, let's get some gouache brushes. Penzance, beautiful, kind of blendy. Chocolate, who doesn't love chocolate? This has almost like a wet look to it, which is really cool. Kind of blobby like that. Loyalty. This one's gorgeous. I love the brush strokiness of this, and you can kind of see the brush stroke edges. That's the burnt edges feature in the brush settings, which is really fun. So really cool gouache brushes. Now we're in the paints. So there's a lot of painty kind of brushes. We have oils, we have gouache, and then we have just paints. So this one is called Abalone. Really fun differences depending on how much pressure you use. This is light, this is heavy. She Oak. Ooh, that one's fun too. Let's get some other colors. I'm kind of sticking in my blues here, you guys. Look at that wonderful texture. So if you're really into painterly kind of digital art, you're gonna love this update. These are really fun. And then there's some watercolor brushes. I don't know if you're familiar, in the brushes there are just the default brushes. There's like the watercolor ones, they leave you wanting a little bit. So I'm glad to see some watercolor brushes in here. Like, I love doing digital watercolor. I have a whole set of watercolor brushes. I did a whole retreat on doing digital watercolor in Italy this spring, and it was wonderful. But these are really lovely. They have some nice textures. You can kind of play around with doing digital watercolor with these. Really nice. And then the markers. I am a big fan of the markers. This one's called Juniper. Look at that. It looks so realistic. Kyle, you are amazing. I'm really in love with these marker brushes. Look at that, it's beautiful. I feel like it perfectly captures marker texture. And of course, when you go over the strokes, you get kind of a multiply effect, so it has this darkening effect. Look at these, so fun. So excited to see what everybody makes with these. Okay, and then, so those are the ones that are based on media. And then we have some that are based more on what you want to do with them, I guess. The lettering brushes, so these, you know, you can tell this one has like a lot more streamline in it, meaning it smooths out your strokes. So you can get some really nice flowy kind of letters. Let's see, Lorikeet. Let's do that. Again, yeah, you can tell this really has the streamline turned up. Let's do one of these other ones. This one is Harlequin. Ooh, that one's really nice too. This is very markery. And I'm trying to see which one of these brushes have like the barrel roll feature, which if you have an Apple Pencil Pro, like I have, on certain brushes, as long as the brush maker has built it in, you can actually twist your brush to control the angle of your stroke. And I think this one, I don't know, let me see if this one has it. No, it doesn't, but it's really cool. Ooh, that's fun. So lots of cool stuff there. We have some street art brushes. So almost like spray paint. Elizabeth Street, that is actually where the Procreate headquarters are located. It's on Elizabeth Street. That's the name of that brush. So these are a lot of fun. Look at these splatters. This one, like if you press heavy, so there's light and then there's heavy, it gets really splattery. That's so cool.
Loris was asking, how does the resolution hold up when you resize or shift a brush stroke or shape?
Well, the resolution is dependent on your canvas size. So I'm not sure if that's what you mean exactly. However big you have the resolution of your canvas. Like for example, if I did a really large canvas, let me see if I have any big ones. I don't, but I'll resize it. Let's do really big. So I'll do like, I don't know, 6,000 pixels wide. So that's really big. And so here you can see the brush, it's relative to the size of the canvas. But if I go to a smaller canvas, which this one's only 3,800 pixels across, I don't know, it looks the same. What do you guys think? I'm trying to see if there's any big differences. But let me see what happens when you zoom in on this one. I mean, you could zoom in quite a bit further. It kind of just depends on, it's dependent. I don't have a good answer. So maybe if you have, maybe ask the question a little more clearly and give you a better answer.
And a lot of people are asking, when does this come out again?
We don't know. Unannounced. But what I think is really cool right now is whenever Procreate used to do updates and things, they kind of kept everything under wraps. Like you didn't know what was coming. You knew an update maybe was coming, and you know, but they really kept things under wraps, and they've actually really shifted their strategy when it comes to that. And they have started sharing a lot more. Like they've been sharing the roadmap about what kind of features are coming for a while. They are really communicative on the discussion board. So Procreate, on their website, they have a discussion board, and you can, they've been sharing a lot about what's going on there. If you follow them on TikTok, this brush is cool. If you follow them on TikTok, they've actually been sharing some sneak peeks of some of these features that I'm showing you guys. And just like really shifting the way that they communicate and share about the stuff that's coming up. And I really applaud them for doing that. I think it's really cool to have them interact with the community in that way and really kind of let us in on what's going on. All right, so you saw some of those. Those were from the comic set. A couple more. This one's environment, and I'll get a green for this because I think this brush is really cool. It does like kind of these leaves. Woo, and you kind of use different pressure and you get bigger. So you could draw a whole like little scene there with those brushes. We've got some cool some grass, little grass. Look at how quickly you could add some grass in. Oh, that one's fun. Bingalong Bay. Ooh, that's cool. This is, I'll have to get a blue for this one. It looks like waves. Look at how beautiful. I love that one. That's really nice. Creative, and these are, I think, like Kyle was having a lot of fun when we made these brushes. I've been following him on his Instagram. He's been sharing about all the brushes he's been making since he started doing it. It's been really fun to see. And like when he gets all excited about a brush and he shares about it. I know he had a lot of fun with these ones. These are really cool. Just some really interesting textures. And then one more, we have digital, and these are fun. Let me clear out a little bit brighter. And these are just kind of very fun. This is Deep North, Motorsport. Ooh, that's cool. Look at that. Ooh, little wave. Roxy.
Is there gonna Randy was asking the question. I was wondering if you're going to be able to have stacking within stacks and like search for anything else.
In this update, I haven't heard that kind of stuff is coming, but I know what you're talking about. So basically, we can organize our artwork into stacks, like I have with this, these different versions of this orange car artwork, and organize them into stacks. So if we could do like subfolders there, I think that's what you mean. And that's definitely a requested feature and something I hopefully look forward to. Also like search within the gallery, being able to search for my artwork by name or something like that would be great. But it's not in this beta, so you know, kind of taking it for what it is. So yeah, so those are kind of not all the brushes, but you can see that there's a lot. 18 sets, there's 8 brushes in each, so it's 144 brushes and a lot of really cool stuff to play with. I'm excited to do some tutorials with some of these new built-in brushes and kind of explore that kind of stuff with you guys as well. Yeah, it's really exciting. I love some of these brushes and I'm excited to explore them more with you guys. Look at that, beautiful. Cool. Well, do we have any more questions before I kind of wrap things up for today? Let me look through the chat. Jeff, do you see any? Oh, we have questions about backing up. I think, yeah, we have, you know, some solutions coming for backing up brushes, and I know that some of the things that they're working on with Procreate Dreams, which Procreate Dreams is actually coming out with a major update. Version 2 is in the works, and they are doing a lot of really amazing stuff when it comes to updates on that. And one of the things that they already have in Procreate Dreams currently is syncing your projects to the cloud. So I know that's something they're working towards in Procreate, but you know, everything takes time, of course. So let's see.
Someone was asking, how can we get on the beta?
I don't know if they're just doing invite only. They're chatting about it or if they have a place to apply. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, you basically have to ask Procreate these questions.
Yeah,
this is not an us question because we don't know.
Yeah, I don't think there's like an open application for the beta. The best place to kind of talk directly to them is in the discussion. So here on the Procreate website, you can go to Learning and you go to Community. And these are the discussion forums. Oh, you have to tap here to Discussions. And these are the discussion forums. Ideas and suggestions, where they talk a lot about what's coming up for Procreate 4.5, 5.4, and Procreate Dreams 2. So yeah, I'm not sure about access to the beta. Let's see, any new blending modes? Let me see. So there actually is. There's one called Shade, and I've been trying to play with this one and see exactly what it does. Let me turn it on. That's a good question. Now, if I recall, it behaves a little like, it's been a while since I played with the shade blend mode, but you can see what's kind of happening here when I use it. I'll get some better language to describe what this does as I kind of play around with it more. So that's the shade blend mode. So there's actually a new blend mode to play around with. This is cool. Yeah. And again, Tasha was asking when this is going to be rolled out. We don't have a date on when it's coming out. And of course, all these features are subject to change as they continue to work on the, update. Things could change. So just kind of stay tuned. And as soon as I know anything that I can share, of course, I will be sharing with you guys. Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me. I wanted to, of course, remind you, if you do have questions you want me to pass along to the Procreate team, you can use that form that's in the discussion. There's a little type form, and you can submit your questions there, and I will do my best to ask as many of them as I can while I'm there. I'm really excited. I've never been to Tasmania, so this is really exciting for me, and getting to see all my friends at Procreate and meet some new friends that I only get to meet them if they come here to the States, so I'm excited to meet even more people at Procreate. But yeah, keep your questions coming. I will try to make more content about this update, as I can, and I'll keep you posted about my trip. Just make sure to follow. You can follow me on Instagram, and of course, subscribe to me here on YouTube. I'll be sharing a lot here on YouTube as well, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you so much for joining me today, you guys, and